Just a podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 8 of Just a Podcast. As the Spanish say, hey Trey, how do you say welcome to episode 8 in Spanish?
Bienvenidos, I don't know the word for episode really. I think it's literally episodio. Episodio 8.
It's pretty good.
De Just a Podcast, or solo un podcast.
So today, we're going to kick it off with our typical news articles.
Yeah.
We didn't actually give each other code words, so
No,
let's do this
here we
live.
go.
Okay, what's
live.
yours? What's yours?
Mullet.
Oh, well, Japan.
Two potentially related, but probably not things.
So, I'll go first this time, because
Yeah.
I always ask you to go first,
Okay.
and I feel like you don't like that.
I don't care.
This is from CNN. Ghost ships wash up in Japan with skeletons on board. This is keeping in the same vein as our Bigfoot episode.
Yeah.
You guys couldn't tell. Tokyo, CNN. At least 4 ships have washed up on Japan's west coast this month, some with bodies on board. While authorities haven't confirmed their origin, signs suggest they're from North Korea. 8 skeletons were found in the hull of one wooden boat that washed ashore Miyazawa Beach in northwest of Japan's main island Honshu, the Akita Coast Guard said Monday. The unidentified boat was spotted drifting offshore on Friday, but the grim discovery was only made when it reached land. While officials would not confirm the boat was from North Korea, it matches a spate of vessels and debris that have ended up on Japan's west coast. Satoru Miyamoto, a professor at something university and an expert on North Korea,
And also former president of Nintendo.
said the number of ships washing ashore on Japan's coast has risen since 2013. It's after Kim Jong-un decided to expand the fisheries industry as a way of increasing revenue for the military. They are using old boats manned by the military, by people who have no knowledge about fishing. It will continue. So
Here's one of those communism things. It's like, oh, you don't know what you're doing? Why don't you go boat?
Boat, yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
you'll be the boat guy.
I don't even know I don't know what a boat is. Yeah, you'll be the boat guy.
What's a rudder?
I don't know. Ask the other boat guys. They could tell you what a rudder is. I feel like the only people in North Korea that are trained are the military.
That's probably 100%.
And the athletes.
And the rice farmers.
Oh, yeah. Probably rice farmers.
I
wonder if they have rice farmers being boat guys.
I'm just thinking about Vietnam right now. Because I was talking about all down the rice paddies. Like, I wasn't even thinking about North Korea. I was thinking about North Vietnam.
So here's a short list of some boats that have washed up. Strange boats ashore. November 13th, 3 North Koreans rescued by the Japanese Coast Guard off Noto Peninsula. 3 bodies found on the boat the following day. All bodies and survivors returned to North Korea.
Oh.
I know, right?
No. Oh, man. Please save these people.
November 17th, 4 dead bodies discovered on board another boat which washed ashore in the same area. November 23rd, 8 North Koreans rescued after boat washed up on shores of Akita Prefecture. Guys, I don't know Japanese pronunciations. November 27th, 8 skeletons found aboard vessel found on Akita Prefecture beach.
Jesus.
So, oh, wow. Okay. The spate of North Korean boats washing up in Japan is reminiscent of 2015, when more than 12 so-called ghost ships were discovered with dead bodies on board. At the time, experts said that the bodies on the boats could be those of refugees or fishermen driven into more dangerous waters by desperation from North Korea's well-documented food shortages. Well, I'm going to go turn off the thing real quick. We don't need that noise. Let's see. So basically, this thing goes on for about 3 times as long as I've already been reading, but essentially, people are just saying it's North Koreans.
So how are they not sure? Is the thing. So they're returning these.
I think it's more
to be from North Korea.
I think it's more of the news outlets are not sure, but the Japanese officials are.
They better be. They're returning people back to North Korea.
Right. And I imagine the officials just don't want to admit, or don't want to not admit, but it's just.
I'm sure it's a diplomatic thing too.
Yeah.
Like you're like, yeah, we rescued some of the people that Kim Jong-un sent to starve in the ocean.
Yeah. No. So that's North Korea's a really weird thing to me because it's just like, I don't know. I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy for a second. It's 2018. How can societies like that still exist?
Yeah, it's startling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Well, one of the things that always gets to me about North Korea is it's like they're not isolated. Like people do trade with North Korea. Most like first world countries do trade with North Korea. Like it's and then the other thing is like I always wonder how dictatorships even start.
Yeah, like people are like, oh, that's a really good idea. I like
that. In before Donald Trump, but like legit, like how in the world does this like? They're like, oh man, we've elected this guy Hitler, and here he is. So I'm with you to the point of electing Hitler, right? Because he's like, oh man, here's the German economic system needs revitalization. Here's what we're gonna do to fix that. Here are some semi-sound. I don't know anything about Hitler's economic policies, but supposedly they're pretty sound. Like, here's how we're gonna handle that. Okay. But then he goes, I want to extend my power permanently for the rest of my life and essentially become a monarch of Germany. Everybody's cool with that? Well, I mean, it seems to me there's got to be enough citizens who go, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird.
The thing is people in desperate times sometimes don't even realize that these things are problematic. So sometimes it's not even people's faults. Like, I don't know, man. I've heard a lot of stories about North Korea where like the citizens are just like, yeah, it's great here, and whether or not they're saying that as a performative to not get shot,
yeah,
or whether or not they really believe that is a different story. That's not anything that anyone can prove.
Yeah.
Until obviously we get it, but it's really weird. I was seeing something earlier, and I might misrepresent this, but like Kim Jong-un's sister. Apparently at like the Winter Olympics, because I don't know if you heard, but North Korea is actually performing with South Korea at the Olympics. Performing is the wrong word. Competing.
Really?
Yeah, the two Koreas are competing together.
From what I understand. As one
team? No, that's my base understanding. I don't follow the Olympics, so like I couldn't tell you for certain.
That sounds like a terrible idea, Olympics.
I know at the very least North Korea is in the Olympics. And that's really weird to me. First off, that's even a thing. But second off, like apparently Kim Jong-un's sister is like being painted as like this big celebrity and like almost like this like goddess among people there. Yeah. And like I said, I might be misrepresenting this. It was kind of just a couple of stories that I read and some comments that I read. I didn't have time to read the whole thing. But, and obviously people are like, hey, we need to stop glorifying this person because remember what North Korea is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't actually know what North Korea is, including myself potentially.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are like, yeah, North Korea is a dictatorship, but they don't understand of it. Like, you can get just executed for speaking out, saying something that you're not supposed to say.
Yeah, you could be a South Korean celebrity, for example, and get kidnapped so Kim Jong-un can get you to make movies for him.
Yeah.
That's a legit thing that happened. That's crazy.
And
that's crazy insane.
I'd like to know what goes on there. I'd like to speak to like a North Korean, like candidly, without like guards, and just be like, "What's happening, man?"
Dude, every once in a while, I stumble into like the greatest possible opportunity, which is that I can tell a story that is both relevant and about professional wrestling. So there was a show in North Korea in the 90s for some reason. I don't know why they decided to do this. They did it in conjunction with New Japan. It was WCW, and New Japan did a North Korea show. North Korea Super Show, Antonio Inoki, blah, 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 Ric Flair, blah, blah. According to Ric Flair's like autobiography that I read when I was a lot younger, they were sat out, like they got off the plane. Service is still working because they've been, Neidhart, Jim Neidhart, for people who don't know, it's a wrestler, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, adding the first name didn't really help me there.
There's not a lot of other famous Neidharts anyway. My point is, Jim Neidhart is talking to his wife, and he's like, "Yeah, man, this place is a shithole," and his phone gets cut like immediately, like within seconds, his phone is cut. It's like, oh, okay, and they're like, attendance at the event was mandatory, so it is still the most seen professional wrestling event of all time because literally a majority of the North Korean population was at the show. It is insane. Like Kim, like this was Kim Jong-il at the time, but like that dynasty is just actually batshit crazy. Like it's ridiculous.
I just don't understand how that kind of stuff happens. Like you said, like that's just crazy, man. But I would just hate to, like, I'm gonna say something controversial here, because when have we ever done that on the podcast? Donald Trump and all, I'm just glad to be here.
In the
I'm just
United
glad,
States?
not necessarily in the United States, but in a place where, I mean, yes, in the United States, because that's where I am.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad to be in a place where I can talk, where I can be, and where I don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. Like, oh yeah, sure, NSA might be listening in or whatever,
and that's not good, and
that's not good at all. And I'm not trying to be complacent about all that, but it's also just kind of like, at least I can still say these things though.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't know how many times I've said I was going to kill myself and no one's barged into my house yet. So either the government wants me to, or they don't care, or they're not listening. But either way, like, that was a joke for the record, guys. That was like kind of, I don't actually want to kill myself. But stuff like that's just, I'm just glad to be in a place where I can do all that.
So we will get back to this article real quick, but brief break just to say something just really fast. Controversial things on the podcast. I cannot believe that on that first tape of Cranberry Ginger Ale, we talked about feminism for 20 minutes.
Did we? I haven't listened back to Cranberry Ginger Ale.
What is wrong with us? That was a terrible idea. Not that I don't stand by I some of the things I said.
Oh yeah, this was in reference to the woman who
was complaining about Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a part of one of the first article segments, and I have no idea why I brought this political article to Cranberry Ginger Ale. It's supposed to be a fun show. I don't know what I was thinking. That was dumb. I just want to outright say that was not just because it was probably a little controversial for certain people watching. Whether you agree or not, whatever. Cool, glad to have you around. But dude, just in terms of boring content, that was really boring.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed Cranberry Ginger Ale. We just kind of released it as kind of like I found the file still on my computer, and I thought it'd just be cool to let it out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. So let's get back onto the ghost ships though, real quick. Let's talk, instead of talking about North Korea so much, let's talk about that. Like, these people on here are like already decayed, and the ships are washing up.
Yeah.
Like, now I imagine they're skeletal because fish come in and start nipping at the bodies, and then the bodies. Do you think that could be some of the feet that ends up in Canada? Could be from these guys?
Depends. Is it on the east or west coast of Canada? Because like Japan,
it would be on the west coast. Oh yeah, it'd have to get all the way around Japan, and then of course across the Pacific Ocean.
I mean, it could eventually drift, right? Yeah. But I mean, it's just.
Wonder how long it would take, like on average, for a foot to drift from Japan to Canada.
I'll tell you what. r/ they did the math later on that one because I'm not really sure.
No, but like that's just a really weird thing, like with these ships washing up. I just don't. Well, why is it so frequent?
It's like one of those things like we were talking the other day about.
What is Japan doing with all these ships?
me and you were talking about how small things in like your life are like a brief article. Like if you put yourself in their position, it's like these are discoveries that are like relatively insignificant, for lack of a better term. Oh, a ship washed up. Yeah. But like when you start adding this up, we're talking about like the bodies of like 60 or 70 people showing up on the coast of Japan, skeletal, and like and in the same place, or many of the same places according to the article. And these like Japanese police looking around like, oh my god. Like, could you imagine that guy's day? Where he's like, they found 4 more skeletons. He's like, Iwari!
Yeah, I was thinking Jenkins, and I was like, wait a minute.
I'm trying to go the Japanese name really fast. Yeah, but like, it's ridiculous the way that like these things continue to happen, despite being like, oh, that like that's a fiction thing, but here it is in real life.
Yeah, that's great. So, what's your article about, buddy?
Oh yeah.
Your code word was what again?
Mullet.
That's a good one.
Yeah. This is from the Australian Associated Press. Thursday, February 15th, 2018. Mullet Fest. Australian town to crown best mullet of them all.
That's good. Australia's priorities are straight.
Real tight. The Kuri Kuri Festival to judge entrants on hairstyle, overall presentation, and stage presence. A small Australian town is laying claim to the title of being the country's home of the mullet by hosting a festival to celebrate the hairstyle that's all about business at the front, party at the back. So every article we read is like, oh yeah, you needed to do that, didn't you? You just had to do that, didn't you?
It writes itself.
The inaugural Mullet Fest.
Inaugural.
Wow. I thought this must have been a long-lasting thing. But
no. But it should have been.
The inaugural Mullet Fest in Kurri Kurri, 150 kilometers north of Sydney, will honor the best cuts in 5 categories. Everyday, grubby, ronga, red hair, accordingly, women's, and junior. Women's mullets.
Junior mullets?
Nice mullet, Junior. Thanks, Dad.
Yours is nice too. It's really granja.
Appreciate it. Oh wait, they're Australian. All right. I'm working on it. My Australian accent is Elvis with like a mouthful of pizza.
Slowly drifting to Elvis Town.
He's like, pepperoni. I'm my mullet.
I want another shrimp on the Barbie.
Alright, mate. Oh, fuck stingrays. They killed Steve Irwin.
I punched a kangaroo once.
You think Australians are upset that Steve Irwin died?
Yeah, probably. I am, and I'm not Australian, so I don't even have that sense of pride.
Entrants will be judged on haircut, overall presentation, stage presence. The person with the best mullet of them all, this is in quotes, so this is actually the
actual
text,
category, yeah,
will then be crowned, according to festival host, hairdresser Laura Hawkins. Hawkins, whose husband sports a razor-shaved Skullet, said the mullet scene was strong in Kurri Kurri, a Hunter Valley mining town that is home to 6,000 people. This is a pretty small town.
That's a pretty small town. But
we've already had 50 entrants. There are 50 mullets in this town of 6,000 people.
I feel like there should be more, honestly.
There's such a variety. There are the hardcore, tough mullets, but also the coiffed, well-cared-for kind.
Well, let's talk about this real quick. 50 people is enough interest to
have a mullet festival?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, it's not a competition. It's not a contest. It's a festival. This implies, like, on, like, multiple days. Like...
Mullet Festival Day 1 and Mullet Festival Day 2.
Yeah, like, so, yeah, 50 people is enough to... Hey, guys, I need 50 people for an undisclosed event. PM me. Twitter @EmeraldJosh. Go.
The short on top, long at the back hairstyle goes back at least as far as the Roman Empire. That cannot be true.
It is true, actually.
What?
But
are you sure? Wait, are you sure about
I
this?
am positive that's true.
What evidence?
No. That doesn't necessarily mean they're referring to them as mullets.
No. I know that. I just mean, what evidence do you have that fucking
Caesar
Caesar looked like Billy Ray Cyrus?
Oh, here's a fun little fact. That's an aside. You ready for this?
Sure.
Like, I'm gonna keep this as short as possible.
Yeah.
So letters in Roman underwent like something called palatization, right?
Yeah.
So like you get Caesar, but back in Caesar's time, there was no such thing as a soft C in Latin.
Right.
That didn't happen until like the 7th century AD, right?
So was Caesar pronounced differently?
Yeah, Caesar was pronounced Kaiser.
Okay, yeah.
Which is
where
Kaiser comes from. Yep. Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
See, I was wondering if either it was originally pronounced differently or if it just had an S at the beginning of it.
No.
Caesar.
Caesar. No. It was, yeah. And my Latin pronunciation is probably terrible.
Yeah.
But I think I told you about this the other day, but this might be fun for people. On that same token, Veni Vidi Vici is actually pronounced, because V's were W's back then. So Veni Vidi Vici, the famous I came, I saw, I conquered, was actually pronounced Weni Weedy Wiki. So, then once again, I didn't even try an accent at that time. So yeah, go on. Sorry for that aside. I just find that fascinating.
Hawkins said she was keen for more women to enter the contest. I see plenty of lady mullets walking around town, but I know they're not signed up. She said, "Oh,
wow, that was straight up." She just cut the promo on them.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, dude.
Look at Josh.
You've introduced a lot of wrestling terminology into my everyday.
Yeah, you said heel turn.
I said turn heel or heel turn a lot now. Like, I don't know. I just think it's really funny.
She said, "I think they're a bit shyer than the proud male mullet. The Mullet Fest will be held at the Chelmsford Hotel on the 24th of February. Wow. That's
That's rather incredible. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, I've got pretty long hair. You guys probably seen me on the channel probably like 3 times, but I've always had pretty long hair. I always is not true, but over the last 5 years, I've had pretty long hair. And I have always kind of wanted to just, like, if I'm ever gonna get rid of my hair, like, for like 2 or 3 days, I just want a mullet. Like, I'm just gonna mullet it and then be like, oh, don't everybody be like, oh, your hair looks so funny, and I'd be like, yeah, that's the point. It's a joke. I'm about to shave it. But, like, could you imagine living with a mullet and being proud of your mullet so much that you are one of 50 people in a town of 6,000 who have mullets and want a festival about it?
Yeah, no, that's look, man, I'm not saying mullets are a bad hairstyle, but mullets are a bad hairstyle.
You know, I'm really curious as to what a skullet looks like, but this is an audio-only show.
Yeah, well, we could look it up and put the picture in the show notes for everybody.
Okay, let's look up a skullet. And sorry, you guys have to look up skullets to keep up with this.
No. You can go scroll down into the. Oh my god! You can scroll down into the show notes and find it.
How bad does it look?
It is bad. So for people who do, holy shit. For people who can't go into the show notes because you're driving or something, so picture this: Post Malone with really long hair, but not anywhere from. So put your hand, like put your finger behind your ears, right? So like the back of your earlobe is touching the tip of your finger, and then like move your hand up and like until it like goes all the way around your head. And nowhere in that area, in up and forward, is covered with hair. Completely bald. And then just a little bit of hair from like behind the ears that go down into a mullet.
So apparently skullets are so popular in Germany that Germany is actually German is the only language for which skullet has a Wikipedia page. It's only a paragraph long, but boy howdy, it's a. They're explaining the origin of mullet, but in German. I'm sure this is being completely mispronounced, but I think it's just saying this word is a combination of the word skull and mullet.
Hold on, I can't find the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, here. It's the picture.
I got the Wiktionary. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Skullet is.
I the bicycle einer Freise.
Yeah, that's the name of a hairstyle. The word comes together from skull and mullet. Yeah. I don't know what Vokuhila means.
And describes something. I imagine that's describe it, right?
Schädel is skull.
Yeah, but what does describe it there?
Oh, describes it.
Okay, so I got that right?
Yeah.
So I don't know German. He does.
Yeah, a little bit. This is that's rather interesting. Yeah. Really so for those of you who can't see, a skullet is like that is
Hulk Hogan almost, but like a little lower.
That is drastically disgusting. Why would anybody want that? But apparently
someone's husband who marries someone with a skullet.
Yeah, or who stays with someone after they decide to get a skullet.
Okay. Oh,
shall we move on?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's cut the commercial break and we'll catch you guys on the flip. Welcome to Goldfish Simulator, the world's #1 game to simulate goldfish life. Swim around the same tank for 24 hours a day with literally nothing to do. Try to eat rocks. Taste that algae. Swim around plants. Select from 2 different possible tank styles. Experience what a dirty tank is like. And then a clean one. Those are the 2 styles. Select from 4 different rock colors. You get black, gray, white, and another shade of gray that's slightly darker. Buy it on Steam now for $49.99 plus tax.
Just a podcast.
Bum, 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 ba-da-dum. Hey guys, welcome back to Just a
Bum,
Podcast.
bum, bum, bum. I wanted to get in on the jingle.
We've decided we're gonna go back to a world famous. Hey, did this ever actually release?
What?
The one we did this before? Yahoo Answers.
Yeah, that was episode 5.
Okay, we're gonna be looking at Yahoo Answers and basically making fun of really stupid people on Yahoo Answers. I have a first one that I think is really...
I think Trey's gonna lead this segment because I don't have Yahoo Answers open.
Oh, you open it then.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the family and relationships section, and because
those are usually the best.
Yeah, this question isn't really that bad, but the answer cracked me up. So we don't really need to read the full question. Should I break up with my boyfriend for using all of my money? She goes on to explain the situation, but you will glean from the answer. Here's the answer. Best answer, by the way. It's like multiple votes. Like everybody's like, yeah, this is the best answer. What should you do? Take this entire mess as a huge lesson learned. What does your boyfriend have access to your paycheck for? It's not his. He has no business being able to access your money or your bank account. They are yours, not his. Never, ever give some guy access to your bank account. And why are you paying for things for this guy? Is he some sort of pussy? Men are supposed to be providers and protectors, not users and sponges. He's pathetic and worse. And as for you, you must have little to no sense of self-worth. This has to change. You are the woman. He is the man. The man is supposed to take care of things, not take your money or have you pay for everything. What a waste of space he is. He doesn't give a fuck. That's all one word. I can see this and I don't even know either of you. Move on. Find someone who acts like a man, not a child who looks at you like you're his mommy. You're not. Signed, Patricia.
Well, Patricia, do you have an opinion? So I got a good one.
Okay.
I got a good one. This is kind of something that's like... This is kind of something that's like another one of those things where you could just read the question.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go on and read the whole question. It's not quite as long. The question. Isn't this the one positive thing that Joseph Stalin did? Exterminate people for their opinions? I don't know what BQ stands for. But BQ, what is so evil about thought crimes? Should people be allowed to have these opinions, such as, it's completely acceptable to molest children, all gay people deserve to die of AIDS, my race is the only race that matters?
He's trying to ask
and the top question, or the top answer is no. In all caps. Well, all caps, 2 caps. Oh, here's a good, oh my god, here's a good answer.
Yeah?
It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 paragraphs long.
Oh.
I'm only going to read the first paragraph.
Okay.
For Stalin to rule with a rigid fist, he needed to be rid of any opposition whatsoever, because those adversaries were likely to lead to his overthrow. Stalin lived through the Russian Revolution. Hence, he knew the power of ideas and where incitement could lead. Like, this is a real answer.
It's 100% legit. I think the dude at the top was being legit too, though. I really do.
I think he was too.
I think the dude at the top was like, but isn't it good to remove the degeneracy from society?
Well, yeah, but you do that through breeding good ideas, not killing those people.
Ready?
Yeah.
Do you think there are dudes who are in love with a girl in high school and they break up and then later in the years the dude sees her in a porn video? Top answer. Yeah, I'm sure it's happened, but it's not something that happens frequently. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wouldn't that be the craziest thing ever? Could you imagine, like, could you imagine if you just, like, saw your high school girlfriend, like, Pornhub, and you're like, oh, would you finish? This is a conversation should be on the...
Moving on. Here's a good one. Oh, where to go?
Whoa.
Why didn't Dwight Eisenhower fight for Germany? I thought Eisenhower was a German name.
Oh, all right, ready? I haven't really even looked at this one. Is it okay to pirate Christian books if you can't afford them? This is the religion and spirituality section now. It's a victimless crime to download something.
Oh my god, this was great.
Yeah?
I'm writing a book. What is a good name to give a kid that gets detention all the time? I was thinking detention kid.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and then you get this like really real one. Why did the U.S. get involved in World War II?
See, that's what's really weird about this in general. Is just like some of them are really good questions, and the other ones are just the stupidest thing you could have ever heard of your life. Like some of them are just like, oh, so what year did the Pythagorean theorem come about? Some scholars claim it was 363 BCE. Some scholars claim it was even earlier before that, and perhaps it was even Pythagoras. What theories do you think hold the most evidence? And can you provide a credible scholarly journal? And the next one's like, what should I name my kid? Shaniqua or Shanaqua?
It's wonderful, man. I got a good one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll read you this whole thing because it's like really, really weird, but I can't really explain why.
Okay.
Did you feel the earthquake in England today? I was in deep Wales today visiting my dear old Welsh friends for a spot of tea and a traditional dance. The cultural hospitality of these old ex-mining towns is overwhelming. Such rough, brave, fearless people. I was in the middle of a dance when we felt an extremely violent quake with the chandelier falling and glass smashing to smithereens. We all ran out, and these rough, brave members of the gentry whose ancestors fought off the French started singing Men of Harlech. Or Harlech. I don't really know how that one's pronounced. Did you good people feel it? 'Twas like how the day of reckoning would have been. I am so what? There's so many like weird like asides in that, like these rough, brave members of the gentry whose ancestors fought off the French. What? Fought off the French in what? Like the Norman invasion in 1066? Like
1066 brought the Norman invasion.
What is that from?
The Mountain Goats.
Is it?
Yes.
That's pretty good. You got one?
Who is the owner of the apartment? If you're renting an apartment, who is the owner of the apartment?
Landlord.
Is it the person who is renting it, or
Landlord.
is it the person that is renting it out?
Landlord.
The owner of the building? I am confused. Please response. To me,
landlord.
the person who is renting the apartment is just a tenant. What do you think? Thanks in advance.
That's exactly what tenant means. That's the exact definition of tenant. Landlord owns the apartment. Next.
The man I was dating and am now pregnant with is a convicted child molester? I dated him for a year and had no idea. I thought I knew everything about him. I, however, didn't. No shit, Sherlock.
Oh my god, Trey, I got something for you.
Go on.
Books and authors section. Authors, how is this piece of writing? I felt her internal warmth about my engorged nether regions. She faintly moaned as I moved further forward and back against her horizontally inclined body, beholding the diminutive drops of sweat descending from her back to her thighs. Thusly,
back?
Yeah, she's on her back though, because she's horizontal.
Because she's horizontal, right?
So how can it go from her back to her thighs?
Or maybe they're doing prone bone?
But how can it go from her back to her thighs?
She'd
Gravity doesn't
leaning.
work that way.
Yeah, she'd have to be leaning. I'm trying to help him out.
Yeah. Thusly, I hastened my pace, and a succession of swift gasps and moans overflowing my quarters accompanied her climax of sexual indulgence. Top answer, moronic. Second top answer, it's hilarious. Hilariously awful. Sorry, but it is really. It's porn at its worst.
Where are you getting yours from? Yours are better.
I'm on the Discover page.
Oh, okay. What was life like for a gay teenager in the 1990s? Not very good. Why do I abuse small dogs? Should I get help? Oh my God! Wait a minute. Look at this one. Hello, I'm a 17-year-old male. Before anyone starts to told me, please read my story. I've always had strict-ass parents and received the worst of spankings with belts and cables. One time, my mom hit me so hard with a cable it cut my thigh and I bled, and it left a dark, pure bruise for weeks. I had... Oh my God. And an uncle who was very strict and intimidating. My mom used to drop me at his house to babysit me and my sister, but always picked on me. He would always yank my ear so hard I heard it snap many times. He made me do math. He was smart, but if I messed up, he would hit me hard with a belt or yank my ear. So when I was 13, I went to Mexico for 3 months. Towards the end, my grandpa's dog had a litter of puppies, and I adored them so much. One day I was alone with them, and for some reason started playing rough with them until I started hitting them, throwing them, shaking. The feeling of power felt so good, but I knew it was wrong. This continued until I left. Fast forward to 2016. I got a girlfriend. Eventually I went to her house. She had a 3 or 4 month old dog, and one day she left me alone with it, and it began again. I would gain her trust for me to later crush it. I would slap her hard, throw her against walls, but not too hard. I would pinch her and sometimes cover her nostrils. Now it's 2018. I moved to a house. My parents found a stray dog, and it happened again. Please, what should I do? Okay.
That got really heavy, man.
What the fuck?
Go get help, dude. If you're listening to this, go get help.
If you're not a troll, actually go get genuine help.
Please go get help.
That's stop. Please stop. Oh my God.
On the same vein of mental instability.
Yeah.
When Hitler killed many of the Jews in World War II, was he mentally insane or was he mentally sane?
Okay, now wait a minute. This is actually a kind of interesting question.
Let me read you some of the rest of it then.
Yeah.
Sane enough not to get involved in things like the Wannsee Conference, which I actually don't know what that is.
I don't know what he's talking about.
All the euphemisms seem to have been a cynical attempt to distance... I don't think euphemisms was the right word. Seemed to have been a cynical attempt to distance himself from the Shoah, presumably for plausible deniability at some future stage. His anti-Semitism was not some sort of aberration peculiar to him. He capitalized on the latent anti-Semitism of the German population and made that one of the launching points for his rise of power. Theories that he had syphilis have largely been debunked. He knew what he was doing, and despite the obvious lack of empathy, many authorities have dismissed the idea he was psychotic. If he was insane, it is unlikely that he would have attained some supreme power. So his success was in spite of any underlying condition he might have had, rather than the reason of it, or for it. I don't think he was insane. It's never once crossed my brain that Hitler was insane mentally. He had any mental, psychopathic issues. I think that he was an angry man who rose to power in an angry way and did a lot of angry and terrible things. But I never even really considered the fact that he could have been insane.
So here's the thought that I had immediately, though, which is the ability to kill people within your species and within your tribe, right? This seems to be a failure evolutionarily. This is a deficiency, right? It harms the population. It harms the... while not inherently, it seems in this case explicitly to harm the general population, the general society, which would mean that for all intents and purposes, it would be basically a defect. It is something that is negative to the self and negative to because it puts you in extra danger, and it's negative to the society as a whole. So it feels like whatever allows your brain to reach that conclusion is a deficiency of some sort. I think
it was anger because like I said, I don't know if I'd consider it a mentally... I don't know if I'd consider him, mentally unstable or anything.
No, not necessarily. I just mean that,
I could agree with you that being able to harm your own... But it's the same reason, why, we wanted to kill the Germans in World War II. Because we blamed them for the bad that was going on, which, in this case was actually true.
Yeah.
But but they blamed the Jews and, all these other unclean races and blah, blah, blah for the problems that Germany was having at the time. And so because of that, you get this hatred that builds up, and you get the scapegoat of being able to say, these people were responsible. I don't know. Interesting question.
I think
Here's
you're right.
another one.
I think you're right.
There's another interesting question.
Yeah, I got one for you. Why don't I ever win? My life sucks. I'm about to really depressed.
Me IRL. Here's another good one. This is actually something that I find rather interesting, rather fascinating, that we could probably have a whole podcast about, so let's try to keep the conversation short. What happens to our photos and selfies when we die?
Whoa, what? What do you mean?
Right? Like, okay, so your cell phone.
Yeah.
Whose property is that after you die? It's
Whoever,
still yours, right?
Well, whoever you give it to.
Well, right.
Whoever your possessions
But
are
all
willed
the
to.
stuff on your cell phone, is that all yours?
No,
including the
whoever
stuff that other people sent you?
I mean, yeah, whoever your possessions are willed to. Yeah, it's the same as a gift. So if I were given a gift chair, right, I could give it to my...
Okay, now you die.
Uh-huh.
You didn't directly say anything about your cell phone.
Sure.
Is it legal for someone to go through it?
Yeah, I would say so.
What about your email?
Yeah. Well, I think this has been established because correspondence is often gone through for the dead. It's sort of as, honestly, a historical event. I mean, we have all of Edgar Allan Poe's letters. We have all of Dickinson's manuscripts.
Yeah, but do you think that's right? Do you think that's okay?
Oh, morally, legally, yes. Morally, it's a gray area. It kind of depends on what their opinions on the subject were. I mean, Dickinson did not want anyone to touch her shit ever at all, and yet it's some of the most beautiful poetry ever written. So it's that's a real gray area. I would say for me, there are people that I would trust with that, but if it were like just some stranger dude, no, no. Also, it's really just a weird idea that anyone would be interested in me post-mortem.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why they would be.
So here's one. I lost it. If you got one, go.
I really want to do it with my young gym teacher, but I'm not sure how. There's no clarification. Answers are like, don't act on it. Don't go there. And then someone was like, give a hint of your feelings. If the person understands or notices, you can proceed. I was like, ask her if she can show you how to do gymnastics. If you're not sure, she can help you. Wait. Know what I'm saying?
I get you, dude. I get you.
Teacher at my school can't even hug me, frowny face?
Here's a good one. One. Edgar Allan Poe. That's literally it. I'm sure there's more in the thing, but I'd rather leave it at that, honestly. Where did the medieval princess eat breakfast? In the Great Hall? In her room? Here's one that's a color. It's a swab of purple. And it says, is this color closer to lilac or lavender? From sights I've read, lilac has more of a pinkish tint, while lavender has a bluish one. But someone told me that this is considered lilac, so I'm not sure.
I really love that. Like, instead of going to like a paint store, like just like I'll just ask Yahoo Answers. They'll know. You know, they've never led me astray before. No one has ever said anything stupid on on Yahoo Answers. What drinks make pee darker? I'll tell you a drink that makes pee lighter.
Water.
Energy drinks.
What?
Yeah, energy drinks. Taurine makes your pee like really bright green.
Oh! I thought you meant lighter as in like more clear. Yeah, no. Energy drinks will make it like
a light color.
Like a bright green. Yeah.
Yeah, as in lighter.
Yeah, but I don't know. I figure the answer he's looking for is water.
No, because he asked darker.
Oh, he asked darker.
Yeah, what makes your pee darker?
I don't know. Not drinking. I think anything that doesn't hydrate you would make your pee darker. Here's a good one.
Yes.
Furries. Since red fox personas are so common, what kinds of things would you do to tell if your persona is yours? Like, for example, the attached picture is mine, and I put black rings around his thighs. I mean, other than that, nothing much you can do than what they normally wear.
Why is it that furries just keep being brought up in my life? The Podcastination episode, we talk about furries, man. My opinion on furries is so like, It's probably too harsh. But I'm just weirded out. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
My thing is just like, why do we have furry conventions? Everybody's like, ooh, it's because they want to be themselves. It's like, look, if you're self as a dude that lives your life in a mascot costume, just don't come around me or my family.
Here's a question written out of pure desperation.
Yeah.
How do you make a house in Minecraft so that zombies don't break into my house?
Here's a question made with pure, like, pretension. Isn't it absurd that a 19-year-old is not allowed to buy a beer in the United States, but has no problem purchasing lethal weapons? Isn't it absurd? Yes, like, everybody agrees with you. Like, do something about the law.
Do you think Xbox will actually compete with PlayStation this year?
Whoa.
I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. I'll be honest. It's possible.
Do you think feminism will make women get along with each other? Since women always sabotage each other with hate and jealousy, I would think feminism will bring some peace unto womanhood.
Here's a really good one. Are you ready? Here's a really, really solid good one.
Yeah.
Did Barack Obama ever date a black woman before Michelle Obama, or was it only white girls? Did he marry her to get the black vote?
Michelle, it's not what it looks like. I found this Yahoo answer post.
Did you only marry me to get the black vote?
Michelle. Oh, here's a really good one. You ready for this one? This is pretty good too.
Yeah, hit me.
Why are black people so sensitive about race?
Probably because you're sitting here making assumptions that all black people are sensitive about race.
How come guys keep tickling me? I was making out with this really cool guy yesterday for the first time, and he poked me in my sides like just kidding around. Of course, I'm really ticklish there, so it made me laugh. And once he heard me laugh, he was like, "Oh, you're ticklish," and he like started tickling me everywhere. Other guys do this too. Don't totally get it. Oh man.
Let's see.
Statistically, is a person more likely to win the lottery or become famous?
I mean, it depends on what you consider famous.
That's exactly.
And it also depends on what you consider win the lottery.
Yeah, I think he probably, let's assume he means grand prize.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So that's like 1 in like 4
sometimes
million.
several million, yeah.
Yes, but still, I don't know how many celebrities really are there.
I mean, once again, it depends on the meaning of celebrity. Like,
let's say that they're at least popular enough that 1 in 1,000 people globally know them.
Well, then it's definitely more likely to win the lottery.
You think?
Yeah. The thing about these things, it's so hard to compare them because winning the lottery is a random chance, whereas being a celebrity is random chance combined with talent and hard work. So,
yeah.
Anything wrong with a 26-year-old dating a 44-year-old?
Wait,
not necessarily.
One more time?
Anything wrong with a 26-year-old dating a 44-year-old?
Oh, I thought you said a 16-year-old dating a 44-year-old.
No.
Okay.
No, not necessarily, but they might say something about your own, like, you know,
psyche,
lack of maturity if you're asking that on Yahoo Answers.
Yeah, the confidence that you have in your relationship is apparently not that crisp. What is the speed of Arcturus?
What?
What is the speed of Arcturus?
Arcturus?
Yeah, I said that because I figured it was a Pokemon.
I have no idea what Arcturus is.
It's in the astronomy and space section, actually. Someone says, Arcturus the star? Oh, relative to what?
I mean, that's
speed in terms of what? Somebody says it's 12 things fast.
12 things fast. Here's one. This one's not a question, but they kind of put a question mark at the end to make it a question.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna read it like that. I hate the car that my parents bought for me. I just turned 16 on February 10th. Oh, thanks for that. And my parents got me a car for my birthday. They got me a 2009 Honda Accord. I know it's not that old, but it has problems. When I drive the car, it stops at random times. It's dangerous. And the window doesn't work. I can't even go through a drive-thru because the window won't go down. What should I do? How should I tell my parents that I hate it?
You don't
want a new car. Yeah, you don't.
You don't. You work and you get your window fixed.
Yeah, you're 16 years old.
Yeah, you can get a job. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I understand when I was 16, I didn't have a job and I didn't want a job. And that's fine. Don't get a job then. But don't complain about the things you have.
Yeah.
If you want more things, work for them. Like, that's the only option you have. Your parents already bought you a car. My parents never bought me a car, dude.
Yeah, I had to buy my own car.
Well,
I'm thankful for at the end, but
yeah, I will tell you, I did get a little help from my grandfather helped me. But it was like a 60-40 split kind of thing. And then I bought a different car at another point. So, like, all I'm saying is work for it. You want to change it? Change it, my friend. Change it.
Here's a good one where the answers are better than the question.
Yeah.
Is Kelly Ripa or Ripa a MILF? I don't know who she is. That's not even the point, though. All right, here are the answers. I'm just going to read them. Most of them are very short. So, not even close. Who? Yes, the hit it and quit it type. I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating cookies. Not really. Technically, yes, but she's getting close to being a G-MILF.
Can you back that up? I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating cookies?
No, but Ruth Ginsburg is. Yes, in my opinion. Yes, she needs to be spit roasted.
Oh!
Oh, no. If a guy asks about how many boyfriends you've had in the past, does it mean he doesn't trust you? Is it a red flag? Not really.
Not
I think it's just
inherently.
genuine curiosity sometimes.
I mean, and even then, look. Here's a controversial opinion. If you don't want to be with a girl because she's been with like 20 other guys, like that's 100% reasonable. Some people
it's
are
your choice to figure out who you're with.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's not a shallow thing, but if that's your opinion, and if that's what, well, I don't know really where I stand on it. I haven't thought about it enough.
Yeah.
But it's like even if you consider it shallow, like that's still your opinion. Many women have preferences on how many, not necessarily how many women other men have slept with, but more of, they have opinions on, I want a tall guy, I want a short guy, I want a strong guy, I want an athletic guy, and men can have the same thing. Everyone can have these opinions of like,
yeah, and my thing about that
I didn't mean to turn that into a gender binary. That was just kind of flipping the table around, and it kind of turned into that. That wasn't the intention there.
Yeah, but what I'm just saying is I think where that comes from almost always is a sense of inadequacy, and like you're like, oh man, I'm not good enough for her because she's been with other people that are probably better than me, and if you don't want to deal with that stress, man, then don't deal with that stress.
Yeah, that's your right as a person to decide that you don't want to be with this guy because he's gonna be stressful to you.
Okay, so are you ready? Here's the next one. Religion. On Judgment Day, do we, the righteous, get to watch the suffering of the non-believer?
I don't think you're righteous anymore, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think you're very righteous if you just ask that question. That's terrible. That is awful. Here's a good one. Should school teachers carry sawed-off shotguns to protect the kids?
No.
No. Here's another good one. What do you think about the FBI? Oh, in general. Oh, it's not in general. It's about the Florida thing.
Oh, okay.
It's just like, what do you guys think about the FBI?
I was like, I really don't know.
Wow.
Here's a fun fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's another fun fact. FBI isn't an acronym. It's an initialism. An acronym is only whenever you pronounce it. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Take that one to the bank with you, children.
I remember when I found that out. It was really weird. Are you ready to listen to some good poisoning the well?
Sure.
Are you a meat eater or a good vegetarian?
You ready for something that's just really fucked up?
Sure.
How do I make my girlfriend get over being raped?
Oh, man. You be with her and
you be a
her.
gentle human being and don't be an asshole, which I'm assuming you are by the posing of that question.
So there was a story recently where a doctor for Olympic gymnasts was found to have molested several of the women.
Yeah, I heard about this. I think actually they talked about this on episode 2 or 3 of the Procrastinators Podcastination.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so guys, go listen to that if we haven't plugged them enough.
So apparently at the court hearings for this recently, one of the fathers was there, and he was. Did you see this?
No, I did not.
Okay, so one of the fathers was there, and he basically said to the judge, like, "Can you give me 5 minutes alone with this guy?" And the judge was like, "Well, no, sir. We can't." And he goes, 3. And, like, you know, everybody kind of, like, chuckles. And he progressively, like, moves this down in time. And she, like, during his sort of statement. And he goes, well, I guess I'll do it myself. And jumps the barricade, like, to go after this guy. And doesn't quite get to him because of the bailiffs and the security and stuff. He apologized to the court, and no charges were against him or anything.
Well, good.
But
I think that's a very reasonable thing.
But boy, howdy.
A very reasonable reaction. I mean,
my thoughts on this are though, could you imagine being the police officer in that situation? Like,
I saw that's like one of those things that's really testing your job, because you know what you should do, but you also know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like the very reasonable thing is, like, I don't think anyone looks at a child molester and doesn't just want to punch them.
Yeah.
Like, that's just some messed up stuff, man. So it's like, I could only imagine being the bailiff and be like, I'm sorry, man, I don't want to do this, you know?
Yeah.
But I have to. It's my job.
Yeah. I remember what Morgan said about it. Well, she was like, I would just be like, man, you've got 5 seconds to get off of this guy. 1, 1.5.
Oh, my watch stopped. I can't count the time anymore.
Don't make me say 2. Straight up though, like that's exactly where I would be on that. That's you know, I don't know, man. It's too many people, too many awful human beings in the world.
Is it incest if step siblings have sex?
Okay, so
wow, you have an opinion on this loaded in the chamber.
No, that's
it's not. No, it's not.
It's not. But so why is it?
But it would be treated as incest.
Legally?
Not legally. Well, I don't know about that, but I feel like it'd be treated as incest as far as the family is concerned. But no, it is not incest, because I think incest has to do specifically with blood ties, right?
So I overheard this conversation at work. One of my friends at work has a stepsister. He might be listening to this. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want anyone to. Anyway, I hear this conversation where someone asks him, you know, your stepsister is really hot. And he goes, okay. And they go, do you think it would be illegal for you to hit that?
Not even for me. Like, it's like, yeah, like, hey, Trey, your stepsister looks good. You want to hit that? Like, I'm not even trying to hit on her. I want you to hit on her. That is weird, man. That is weird.
I've heard that.
I mean, to each their own, but...
Oh, it made my night.
That was pretty good.
It made my whole night. It really cracked me up so bad. Oh, man.
What's crystal meth like? I'm 16 and I plan on trying it with some friends. And don't tell me not to do it, because I just don't care. I already smoke marijuana, and I just want to get away from my parents who hate me and insult me every day, and I don't want to feel sad and angry all the time.
So, man, could you imagine being a parent? Because you have to say something. And kids just take... So, like, your kid is, like, smoking weed all the time at 16 and, like, not doing jack shit with their lives. Not even trying.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you go, you've got to do better than this. And they're like, oh, my parents insult me and hate me all the time when I do crystal meth. And you're like, there's no winning for me here.
No, there's no winning. Yeah, that's why you just gotta, like, euthanize them early if they're not paying attention.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Will you
Wait
let
a minute, I just said yeah without thinking about it. I agreed like a
yeah, you were just like, that sounds good to me. That's exactly what I was thinking. Thanks for saying it. Here's a good one.
Yeah.
This one can also be I think a whole conversation piece.
Yeah.
This says husband, but I'm just gonna replace it with spouse. Would you let your spouse have a Snapchat?
Okay, let is a bit of okay.
Yeah, let is my problem with that.
Yeah.
Like, be happy with is the alternative.
Yeah.
I think is the proper way that should be worded.
Yeah.
So here's the full thing.
Okay, yeah.
I'm highly bothered by so-called Snapchat. So-called. It is just called Snapchat.
It's a fake Snapchat. Like, that's his problem.
Yeah.
It's off-brand. She's like, she won't get the Gucci.
I'm gonna be cleaning this up because the grammar in this is atrocious.
Sure.
So I might stumble a little bit. I'm highly bothered by so-called Snapchat when I saw my spouse's iPhone, he has so-called Twitter and Snapchat. If you're married, you're supposed to appreciate your wife because you don't need to waste time with a bunch of other shameless sluts who will throw themselves onto you.
Whoa.
Some of them showing their star and private parts to some random man with no shame.
Why did she
They don't have
censor?
moral. I have no idea.
That
They don't
wasn't
have
a private
morals,
part.
dignity, or respect. So I don't want my spouse to be a part of this. I told him I trust you, but you need to delete it.
Okay. Is that the whole thing?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. I don't exactly disagree. Snapchat has changed a lot. When I first got Snapchat, it was really just like everybody knew it.
Everyone knew Snapchat
just a
was
nude thing.
just a nude thing.
Yeah.
But somehow
It's become
it
an actual
transcended
social
that.
media, yeah.
Which is like, it actually blows my mind because like, I mean, back when I was in high school, which is a really weird thing to be able to say because it was like so long ago where it's like,
been 40,
it wasn't
yeah.
even like a handful of years. It was like, well, I guess 4 is still a handful, but like.
How many years can you hold in a hand is
Yeah,
really
5.
the question. Oh.
But like back when I was in high school, like, you would send Snapchats like socially to your friends, but nobody really took it seriously because I think everyone knew what its real intention was. So everyone used it casually to like be like, no, I don't use it for nudes. I use it casually.
Yeah, but that
Right?
wasn't true. That was the thing. At the
Yeah,
time, it wasn't
yeah.
true. And now I believe
But
it.
now it is true. It's transcended this like nudes phenomenon into just being. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty
Kids
of
are still
nudes
doing this,
sending it.
yeah.
But still, there's like plenty of like real social media going on there. And I don't like Snapchat personally, not because of the whole nudes thing. Like if my girlfriend had a Snapchat, I really truly don't care. I might get a little self-conscious depending on who she's talking to specifically.
Yeah.
But
not
it's not
the
necessarily that I don't trust her, but it's more of like, oh, that person's better than me. So like
Yeah.
so I trust that she won't. Anyway, that's an aside.
That's an aside.
So like, but somehow it's completely turned into this real social media platform. Now, if you saw that person, I couldn't quite tell from that, but it seemed to like impose that she had seen inappropriate pictures be sent to her husband.
If that's the case.
If that's the case,
Yeah.
you should probably have a real conversation about this. Once again, not on Yahoo Answers. But like, if you just like, I don't know, if you just see him on Snapchat, like, I don't think that's necessarily quite an issue.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but see, here's my thoughts on this. Is like nowadays, it's not. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I definitely think this sounds like a 40-year-old woman, genuinely.
Yeah, go for it.
So
be 40 years old.
I think she doesn't understand the platform.
Yeah,
and likely neither does her husband really, and so she thinks of it as this nude thing, and he thinks of it as another social media. Like everybody told me to get Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat.
yeah, because she lumped it in there with Twitter.
Yeah, so-called Twitter. Which
So-called
I wonder if
Twitter.
she thinks the apps are fake and there's text underneath them or something. I don't know how.
Or maybe she just. I really don't know.
I don't know what her thoughts on that are, but
yeah.
But I do remember thinking I didn't want my fiance to have a Snapchat before I. This is before we were engaged, but at the time, like I was like, I don't know. It just seems like a bad. I don't know. But the whole let thing, like let is really the operative.
Yeah.
I would say you don't have the option to let them. You definitely have the option to voice your concern.
And you definitely have the option to turn it into what's that thing called? Whenever you shoot, it's the words escaping my head. When you tell somebody like, oh, if you don't do this, then I'm leaving.
It's an ultimatum.
Ultimatum. Thank you.
Sure, you could
turn it into an ultimatum. Like that may not be the most appropriate move, but it also does depend on how far this has gotten.
Yeah.
So it's well within your rights to do that, but it's not within your rights to let him have that. Now the question is like, should I do anything or should I just like?
He's probably chill.
Yeah,
probably, but I don't know your
unless
situation.
you know for a fact that he's.
In that case, that's
unfaithful.
beyond Snapchat, though. He
Yeah.
could do that on Facebook. You do that anywhere.
He's just using Snapchat because it's easier.
Yeah, and it's self-deleting.
Yeah. So was thinking about taking up modeling. My boyfriend doesn't want me to.
I thought you were just talking to me generally. I didn't know that you were
Yeah, no,
reading
sorry.
a question for a second.
So what do you think?
I think 100.
Even though she was interested in modeling before she met him, is what she says. I think that's just something that not every boyfriend can handle.
100%. I agree.
And I don't think that's either. I think it's something that they really need to talk about. And maybe they'll find that their ambitions don't line up and maybe they're not meant for each other, or maybe they need to make concessions. But I think it's a big thing to ask somebody to quit their dreams because it's not what you want to do.
Okay. Yes, and
I'm not saying it's inappropriate to do that, but I'm saying it's a big thing.
okay. So I would say for sure you're gonna want to support her to some extent, but there's nothing. Once again, I think men get a lot of shit for actions that evolve out of feelings of insecurity.
Yeah.
And these actions, like not wanting to have a Snapchat, that like we just saw a woman embody that, but or wanting to know how many people your wife has slept with or whatever. These actions come from insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
He does not want other people looking at you and you being exposed to a world of people who are professionally beautiful.
Yeah.
And he's not part of
that. That would be
world.
my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is like not necessarily like everyone being able to see you.
Yeah.
Like, because I know you're beautiful. Let other people see that you're beautiful. I truly don't care. Because I know that you are mine.
Yeah.
But being around these other people who, like you said, are
might not
professionally
respect that
beautiful.
boundary.
There's an episode of New Girl, which is one of my favorite shows. But I also don't watch a lot of TV, so maybe it's garbage. There's an episode of New Girl where this one guy is dating a model, and he goes to visit her at work, and he's trying to be really sweet, brought her roses and coffee and stuff like that. And she's doing a photo shoot, so she's riding on the back of a horse in like in a bra and panties, like with her arms around this like Adonis, right? And he was like really bothered by it, and she was like, "This is my job," like, and it was kind of this idea of like, where she was trying to say like, "Look, this doesn't mean anything to me. It's my job. This is just what I'm getting paid to do." But he was like still really uncomfortable with it,
Yeah.
So
and I understand totally because I couldn't put up with it. I genuinely couldn't. But maybe I'm just. I could see both sides of this. I think you could see it as being selfish to not want your significant other to pursue a career that they really want because it makes you uncomfortable. But I also see it as selfish to say basically, well, I'm doing it anyway. I don't care.
It's something that if you two are in a relationship, it's something you need to talk about.
You need to be able to have that
What's
communication.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably not on Yahoo Answers.
Yeah. Why is this? Why is this like that? All right, I got one more for you.
Yeah, go for it.
This one's a little bit weird. I kind of want to get a good conversation about this. This is being asked on law and ethics.
Oh, hold on. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
This is the top answer in that.
In the model?
last one.
Yeah.
As a boyfriend, it's his job to support you in your dreams 100%. You don't need to explain yourself to him for anything. He is the one that wants too much attention. If he is ignoring you now in an immature way, she said he won't talk to her right now. Sorry, I left that part out of the question.
That is silly. That is silly and
then
immature.
If he is ignoring you now in an immature way, then leave him because he is always going to do that about everything. What you want from your life depends on you, not him.
Whoa, No.
It is your role to support 100%. He needs to ask no questions. What?
Wow, man.
What?
No, it is both. It's both partners' roles to support while asking as many pertinent questions as possible.
Exactly.
You have to ask that. If these are very important questions to ask. So I'm likely moving away, right? I'm going to grad school. My fiance and we've talked about, and I asked her this explicitly. Do you want to move out of state with me? We need to have this conversation.
Yeah.
This is something I want to do. Is it something you want to do? And we need to find out basically whose resolve on that side of the issue, if they disagree, which we didn't disagree. We were both ready to move out if we needed to move out. But say we did disagree, which one of them is more important? Because you sometimes have to decide. I could have moved out of state for university.
Yeah.
For just undergrad. I didn't. I stayed here to be with her. Sometimes these conversations have to happen and a choice has to be made. It was not her job to support me and deal with me being 4 hours away where she couldn't see me but once every 3 months. That was not her job. I didn't have a car at the time. These are not things that are to be expected of one partner and not given by the other one. There was a compromise made. I did go to college. I did see her less during that time because I was busier than I was in high school. But I didn't move 4 hours away. Compromise. we met in the middle. Meet in the middle. Why is the advice on Yahoo Answers always break up with him? I don't understand.
That's why relationship advice on Yahoo Answers is funny. All right, hit me with yours.
Okay, so this is
we gotta start wrapping this boy up.
Okay, this is another pretty good genuine conversation potentially.
Yeah.
Do I have the right to keep pictures that my ex sent me when we were together?
Yeah. Well,
is it now
legally?
legally?
Legally, yeah, you have the right.
Is it moral, and should he do it?
I think it's a respectable thing to get rid of them.
You think so?
Yeah, especially if / when he starts dating someone else.
Okay, see that part I agree with. However,
I don't think. Look, okay, so I don't think that he should be expected to. They were sent for him to keep, and I assume these are compromising photos.
Yeah, they are. Risque photos in his words.
So like, I don't know. And this applies to both genders, if that needed to be said. It is within your right. They sent it to you for you. They didn't send it to you for you while we're dating.
Right.
You know? Now, if you agreed beforehand, like, oh, if we ever break up, I will delete every single one of these, then yeah, you should absolutely do that to keep your word.
Then you're a scumbag if you don't.
Yeah. But if that agreement was never had and she hasn't outwardly requested it, and even, you know, whatever, like, because it is her body and it is her, you know, it is her in the photos.
Yeah.
But once you send a photo, you just kind of have to accept the fact that it's not in your hands anymore. Right?
Well,
and so, like, you know, I think it is a respectable thing for him to do, to delete them.
Yeah.
But I don't know actually where I stand on whether or not he should.
It's very weird because we don't consider a lot of gifts, and what's really weird about this, if you break it down to its most base component, that's what it is a gift of a photograph.
Right.
We don't consider most gifts as things that you have to get rid of at the end of a relationship. There's sometimes this sort of idea of like, oh, we'll give that back. It was given to me as a gift, you know.
But it's the nature of the gift.
Yeah. Yes. Yet somehow this specific type of gift
because it's intimacy. Like if you and I were dating and I gave you my underwear.
Yeah, but
I might want that underwear back afterwards because I don't see a reason. I feel wrong for you still having that intimate part of me when we are no longer able to be that close.
Okay, but what about... so let's transcend this to something inherently even worse, even more tying.
Yeah.
The wedding band. You have to give it back?
I don't actually know how that works. I think most people keep their own and just put it in a box.
Yeah, exactly. So what is it about underwear or lingerie or
like
picture?
I said, it's the physical intimacy of it. It's something that like.
But is it not? Is a wedding band or something like that not also?
That's a symbol of emotional intimacy, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
So what is so weird about sexual intimacy that it can't be made into a memento of some sort? In a way that emotional.
I think because it is much more private. Like when you're a kid, right? And you have, you know, and you are dating this girl. I only say kid because, you know, you'll see where I'm going with this later, but adults aren't often. Well, you know what we'll say? We'll say it. Adults are not often open about their sex life, which is understandable.
Yeah,
people are not often open. Wow, about their sex lives, but you're very open about. Yeah, I love this woman.
Yeah,
it's something that is really between these two people in a way that not many other things are. And of course, by saying I love this woman, you will probably never ever be able to adequately explain how much you love this woman. That would be something that is a much more intimate thing. But I don't know. It's something about this, like, it's the secrecy of it. It's the you know, it's something that people consider a very, very private matter. And so once you go away, it feels like once that separation is there, you would look at the wedding band and you'd feel sad. You would look at the fact that they still have those photos and feel ashamed, perhaps.
See, and
I'm not sure exactly how that goes, because I've never been in a position like that. But that's just a theory. I think that it's reasonable. It's just a theory. A nude theory.
Thanks for watching.
But I don't know. I don't know quite where I stand on it, but I know the basic ideas of where.
So I do agree. By the way, I've been mostly devil's advocating.
Yeah.
I do 100% agree that it's respectable to get rid of it probably, and also it's a little sad just to keep it, isn't it? You should probably let go of that and move on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in sort of a legal sense, and also in sort of just a in this sense of trying to sort through my thoughts, I can't really figure out what it is that makes that a different thing. See, why is it that this is the line of?
I think it's the boundary of privacy.
See, but here's the thing: it's not a violation of their privacy.
Well, no, but it's a violation of what they. Yeah, it is. It is because
really?
Well, no, yeah, it is because their boundary of privacy has now receded.
Okay.
So after you break up, you would no longer, like, assuming these two people are not still intimate, like, as a friends with benefits kind of situation.
Well, that's a dumb idea.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, let's just make that assumption just in case it wasn't clear.
Yeah.
After you break up with someone, your boundary of privacy will recede. You will no longer want to do certain things around them, like be naked or shower or anything that could be, like, even down to like farting in front of each other, which is something that you may not do after you break up with someone, right? Like, so those are kinds of things like that would be incriminating is the wrong word, but incriminating, because that's the only word I could think of for it. It's just something that, like, like I said, your boundary has receded, and that's something that you did do before that you would no longer do with that person, and therefore it is embarrassing or shameful or however certain people may deem it.
Right.
Does that make sense? I'm trying to explain it through a window because I'm just speculating here.
It's certainly not incorrect or anything. I just mean,
I more mean, does that sound agreeable?
I'm unconvinced that you have the capacity to rescind this sort of like consensual exchange like that.
But you've never broken up with someone after being in a long-term relationship.
Yeah, no. That's not what I'm saying. It's fine. I'm not. You can call him Morgan, but it's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. That in the sense that intimacy changes. I'm saying I don't know that you have the capacity to rescind their rights to having
no.
the
I
thing.
agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. I think that if you ask them to remove something or to delete something, it should absolutely be a request and not a command.
But it is a moral command to some extent.
Right. Well, yeah. It's a moral call to action.
Yeah.
But it is. I don't think that you can command unless, once again, there was an agreement in place.
Yeah.
To delete them if you ever broke up.
Yeah.
In which case, get that in writing. Because they'll just copy the files and then delete the first copy.
We want prenup. We want prenup.
Yeah. But yeah, if that was an agreement, like then you can do something. I don't know if you can do anything, take legal action or anything. But at that point,
well, you can't if they share it because revenge porn is illegal through illegal through likeness laws. I believe.
That's
like,
probably
you can't share your likenesses.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's very interesting. No. Yeah. I'm sorry. We misunderstood each other. I don't think you can command the deletion of it because your intimate boundaries have receded. I think that you can request it, and I think that any reasonable person should agree with it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's the same. Like I wanna take a second to like recount everything I've been saying, and sometimes it would be the same thing. Sometimes people just aren't ready to throw away a wedding ring because of everything attached to it. And sometimes people aren't ready to throw away that kind of stuff. Once again, this is all an assumption, but I imagine sometimes people aren't ready to throw away that kind of stuff because it meant something to them.
Yeah.
So So you're asking somebody to do something that has like an emotional attachment. At the end of the day, if it were asking me and we were in this situation, I would do it because I think that is the right thing to do, even if I wasn't ready. It is your likenesses and it is you. And if my computer gets hacked and that stuff
God
gets
knows
out,
I don't want that to happen to you.
Yeah, like that will not impact me. That will impact you. Yeah. So I should take those steps to protect you. Yeah. So what's the next one?
I don't have a next one, and we've been talking.
Oh, you said a couple. You said you had a couple.
No, I don't have a next one. What are your hobbies?
Oh, okay. So I got one more.
Okay.
I got one more. Laptop screen bent. Who should pay for repair? My friend tickled me and he made me knock my laptop off my desk, which made the screen bend. Should he pay for the repair or me?
Oh, I think
I think he should
I think
offer
he should, yeah.
to pay for some of it.
But it is your
But it was your
thing,
house.
your hand,
Yeah.
your computer.
Yeah, and you could have, like, rightfully said, don't touch me. So you wanted, ideally, you wanted him to tickle you.
Well, now
or
say,
not necessarily wanted,
not
but...
necessarily, though.
No, but that's kind of the assumption because the complaint here isn't the tickling. So the assumption here is that you were okay with the tickling because that wasn't the complaint. You know, if you said I didn't even want him to tickle me and I was telling him to get off and then it fell, like that's a different story altogether.
Yes.
But the complaint isn't the tickling, so I think one can reasonably assume that there was no problem with that.
Well,
I'm not going to say that wholeheartedly,
I would say the
but
guy should pay for it.
I would say the guy, I think the guy should at least pay for part of it.
Yeah.
Like half of it.
I was about to say, let's go halfsies.
Yeah, I would think,
It saves
going
you some money
halvesies.
on this repair. I'm very sorry, but like, you know, come on, this was an accident. I'll help, but I can't do everything.
But accidents do happen, and, you know, it was your desk, presumably your place.
Oh, yeah. Accidents happen, man. Hey, let's mention this on the air. Remember when Morgan washed my phone in the washing machine?
Wow.
And it cost me over $160?
I'll buy your phone right now for $30. I'll go up to
Want to buy my phone? Call me up at my phone at 508-848-7413.
Can we make self-referential things like that? Is that tasteful?
It's probably not.
Cool.
Anyway, but
yeah,
I was never like, oh, you got to pay for my phone. Like, you know, I was like, shit, sucks. But, you know, I mean, I guess that's a different thing because we're in a relationship. But still, it was like, you know, shit, well, I got to go buy a phone.
Okay, I've got one more for you.
All right, let's go.
This is the last one to close out the show.
Yeah.
My mom walked into my room and saw what I had uploaded on my computer screen. She screamed and asked me what it was, and I turned to her and told her, it's just a podcast.
Wow.
Did I get you?
You got me. Is that really the end?
Yeah, why not?